Back to the second segment. Before we continue on, we were able to talk to a young father of a daughter who experienced violence also in Ireland, and we were able to ask him some questions, and we got some answers as well. And we'd just love to read out the questions that we asked and the answers to you guys, and so you can get a different perspective from someone who has actually gone through some sort of like violence towards his daughter, family members, anything like that. So, OP, do you want to ask the first two
Yep.
questions?
So the first question. So I read out the first question, then the answer. So the first question we asked was, how did you feel when you found out about what happened to your daughter? And the response, initially, I was in shock. I couldn't believe such a senseless act had caused such life-changing injuries to my child. Any father wishes to protect their child, and to get that call was horrific. I went through anger, and now all that I can face is acceptance and perseverance. I am determined to make sure, excuse me, I am determined to make sure my daughter lives a full and happy life, and that this injury doesn't stop her from doing all the things she wants to do. And the second question that we asked was, how are you and your family coping after the incident? It will be such a long road to some sort of recovery, and it will take time to adapt to a new normal. Thinking of it as a whole is overwhelming, so we are coping by taking it day by day, appointment by appointment. There is no other way than to go forward.
So, we also asked, how would you like the community to support you and your family during these times? And the father replied, I think the best way the community can support us is by allowing this senseless act and its harrowing consequences which my daughter now faces, to shine a light on young adults' need for guidance and to highlight the absolute importance of parenting our children in a communicative way in order to prevent these occurrences, take responsibility, and teach responsibility. And the last question that we asked was, as a father, what are the issues you feel every man should learn about, unlearn, and relearn when it comes to women, issues dealing with women? Physical assault should never be acceptable against a woman or a man. I feel the age old issue in a patriarchal society is that a woman with a strong sense of self, who has a voice and an inner confidence, should be celebrated and inspirational to others, not to be targeted to the male ego or seen as threatening to the male ego. As a father of both a young man and a young woman, I believe both should be taught respect and compassion for all humans. That was a very,
Very
very
passionate
passionate message, and I
response.
fully agree
Like,
with that.
as I'm trying to put myself in his shoes
Mm,
as a father, getting that call, and
mm,
he says something there about, like, someone that you wish that you protect, and you're responsible for and you look after, and all these years, and you get a call that something out of your control has now
mm,
happened to your daughter. Shout out to him,
mm,
honestly, because I don't know what I would do. I think he's handling better than most
mm,
under the circumstances. But like he said something there, like the only thing he can do is perseverance, and I suppose that shows a testament to his character and what he instills. But yeah, it was just really shocking when the news kind of came about, and I don't know if I'm supposed to kick off the conversation. For I suppose Sam, if you want to start off, like when you saw the news, what 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 were your initial thoughts and reaction?
So I didn't actually understand what was happening when I saw this on social media because it was everywhere. And I was trying to think and make sense of it because out of nowhere, how would this happen to a young girl? Do you know what I mean? This is someone that's got siblings. I'm talking about someone that has family. Like how you're just walking in the country. Like how does this happen? And then as the story evolved, I understood that it was obviously racial, um, and it's quite sad. There's always this thing that me and my friends are always talking about. So, when you're black, you fit in with the black people. When you're white, you fit in with the white people. What happens when you mix race? Where do you belong? Where do you stand? And it was quite. It was a good thing seeing black people stand with the father. It was good seeing white people stand with the mother. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just hurts to see her not knowing where to belong because she's half white and it's the white people that are beating her up. You're not safe.
I can't imagine what kind of trauma that would have given to her. Like, cause absolutely right. Like, where would you go in that scenario? Gabby, I don't know if you want to have additional.
I just want to, even just based off of that, I want to ask the men and the women, do you think that women are protected in our society? Like, as a woman, do you feel like you're protected when you go out or when you're anywhere? And as a man, do you think that women feel protected or can we even feel protected around you? I just want to ask.
Can I ask you the question back? Yeah.
You can ask me after everyone is done.
No. This I'm asking this question so when you do give your opinion, like you can think about it as well. Who's protecting us? Like, who has the onus of protecting? Whose job is it to
Could you
protect?
argue the government?
I just want to come in on that, just on that specific situation. Sorry, here you go. Can you tell I'm an amateur? No, I just want to come in on that really quickly on that specific situation of this girl. And you're saying, who's there to protect us? And you said the government, but it's clear that there aren't proper tools in place to protect the girls because the perpetrators of that crime were, I don't know the current state of it, but at the point when I read up, they'd gone to court, they were out on bail the next day. Yeah. This guy was like to go to work, and I'm there like, well, what's the deterrent? If I'm a male with questionable values and I commit that crime where I see that I can commit a horrible act of violence upon a woman, Grant.
Slap on the wrist.
Yeah, slap on the wrist. I'm a minor. I'm fine. I'm okay the next day. And there's someone there with life-altering injuries. I just, like, we're
fighting for her life.
Yeah, fighting for her life genuinely. And when I've been talking about the traumatic effects of these injuries, either and long-term effects, and you can see that, I don't know whether it's the judge, whether, the law has not equipped the judge enough with, the right tools to sentence these people properly.
Are you missing the white privilege part?
Well, I don't even want to get into that. I'm just talking specifically. A crime has been committed, and there's, this guy's a minor and nothing's happening. Listen, we can talk all day on the different layers of things. I just didn't want to get into that, but I'm just talking just from like a very linear way of thinking. And it's clear that the people that are out there to protect us, there's no tools in place. And then we go further and be like, whether it's men there to protect women being equipped to protect themselves, the mindset of these kids, from what I heard, it wasn't just like, an initial attack. These people had been bullying her for quite a long time. So that's even 10 times worse. This has been a, consistently sustained attack on this poor girl and her friends, What was there all the way building up to this vicious attack to protect her? Clearly, I'm sure the mother's gone to police. There's so many different things that are not in place and lacking in that point.
I definitely do agree with that. What do you guys think?
Like, definitely on a big scale, I do think it does start with the government because, like, what they put in place is what, like, the whole country's going to see. Like, people take example from, like, for example, if those people didn't get away with that punishment, they would have made an example for like anyone else that's actually like watching the situation, and it would remind like boys like that like
it would have set a precedence for people to look at and be
exactly,
like, you can't do that.
Yeah. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
But do you feel like, before you answer, I just want to ask, do you feel like even within, let's take aside the government in our situations, do you feel like as a community we have protection within ourselves? Because if we're speaking within the community, there are women who feel like they can't go out or they can't do certain things within our small community. Like when you go, I'll give the example of going clubbing, and someone comes and touches me inappropriately. Where do I run? Where can I go in that moment? Are there men that I can say that, oh, there's a friend around the corner, and can you pretend to be my boyfriend for me in those situations? So that's where I'm coming from in the light of, do you feel like we are being protected even as a community?
No, I feel like apart from the government, as a society, we can definitely do more like understanding and spreading awareness, because like the more people are aware about these things, I'm not saying like the situations won't happen more. It's just like it does limit like the actions from happening. People actually
Exactly.
know what's going on. Like for example, that club situation, guys themselves would be afraid to do things like that if they know like their friends already
Exactly.
don't like take part in things like that.
Yeah.
So like as a society, we do need to be more like collectively understanding and vigilant towards these situations. Yeah, yeah. To be honest,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. Do you want to say something?
He basically answered that way. Like I was to say, like yeah, as a society, like we should be more vigilant in these situations. Like for example, say I'd see a girl walking by herself, and I'd walk across the street so she won't feel, like less like she won't feel like she's in danger. Just to let her know that like, yo, like I see you, and I'm gonna give you a space, but I'm gonna go on my side just so you know I'm not a threat in any way.
I like
Stuff
that.
like that.
Yeah, I like that.
I just want to say, what if, not what if, it is the community that is hurting us. So if we need protection from the community, by the community, for the community, it's just too much. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is literally kids that are in school, right? That are doing the same, like they're doing stuff to their own in school. It's that community. So who's gonna be? It's a bit of a sticky one.
I think you have something.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sticky one, and I agree with what everyone has to say. But when we say it starts from the community, I it's not necessarily the community. Like it's not necessarily the community. When we say community, we mean orientating ourselves. We as adults, we have friends that are not even orientated. It's not by going to school. It's not by having a degree that shows you are illiterate. You can be you can be an educated illiterate. So we have to actually start by educating ourselves. And it's from educating ourselves we can now build the next generation and also orient the younger ones. If it has to start from us, it shouldn't be about the government. Yeah, the government has a role to play, but who are the people in government? Today, I can decide to join the government, but if I don't have the right orientation, where would it come from? There's nothing like these are questions we need to ask ourselves. We need to sit back, orientate ourselves. It's just like there's actually a little parents can do. There's so much parents can be there to guide us. There's only a little the father could have done. Yeah, it could be the best father to the girl. We don't know what's going on, and I would love to believe that he handled it well. Because if I was the one, I don't
Someone's house has to burn down. Like,
I
I don't understand why there's no
don't know. I
fires
don't
going
know,
on. Like he's too
'cause-
calm. He's too calm. I saw if you see the pictures, like I don't.
I
so-
remember when I saw it, I didn't even know. I didn't want to know what was going on. If the child was at fault, I asked certain questions because I love to look at things from two different perspectives. I wouldn't lie. The first thing that came to my mind, I was on the child side, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, this is a black guy. You don't know his past. Is he dealing? Is he having beef with other people? No, it's true because I didn't even know it was actually like
And
a
it
teenage
is
thing.
also the fact that we're in a foreign
You have
country.
to look. Yeah, I wasn't looking at it from the shallow thing. It could be any of us sending kids to actually bully the girl. But because we don't want to be the face, we don't want to face the law, and we know children, and it's so sad that they believe children a lot. I'm not saying don't believe kids, but you actually need to know when they are lying. It's not everything. Kids lie. It's now left to you. using your psychology or your experience to actually be able to determine when they are telling the truth. And also, sorry, I'm not done. The school has a major factor. It made the school, the teacher, because let's assume they are classmates. You can't be a teacher. How are you a teacher and you don't know more about your students?
You'd be shocked.
No, let's not
I
say
feel-
that.
Irish school.
Irish schools don't. They. I'm so sorry to
They
say,
just
not
like
even
to
to
do
cut
their
you off,
job.
but Irish schools don't. There's no area for our culture. There's no area for us to grow as a unit. Because I remember even in uni where people are my age and we're grown adults, even just being together in a group, you're seen as you're being antisocial. Let's accept that as it is. From the get-go, from primary school, I remember specifically, you are told play with the other kids, don't play with the black kids alone, because you're literally just seen as you're just sticking to your own group. And it continues from primary school, secondary school, uni. It continues even as a grown ass adult. When you go out, it's all that antisocial behavior. They've started all over again. And the thing is, I don't want to remove that from the whole experience and the whole situation, but it's where we begin to realize that, okay, this country or where we are right now is not ours. It's not for us. But how can I make a difference so that people within, let's say, 4 meters of my environment, I know that they're safe.
Yeah.
And I know that there's been things instilled in our community. We have an agreement. Like in America, I know this is very random, but in America, they have like drug dealers take care of the poor people. Like in those communities, they know that if something is wrong, they have somewhere they can run to. We don't have that.
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm coming from now?
Yeah.
We don't have that unity of a community that if there's something wrong with me, I can go to Farouk, I can go to Okbe, I can go to you and say, oh my God, this is what is happening to me right now. That community is so minuscule that it's only the people that I've probably grown up with. And even then, it's still hard to tell them because they might not understand the deep rootedness of that situation. They might not understand, or they might not be able to grasp how deep it is for me as a woman to go through that experience. Guys fights. Let's do it. Guys beef, they fight in clubs, they do all of this. But then when we look at the violence against women, it's at a much higher stake because they can't defend themselves. There's nobody to defend them and they can't defend themselves. She's lucky she has her father. But what about the women that don't have a father? What about the black women that we have in our society that are isolated by men and put in a corner that, no, you can't go out to meet your family today. You have to stay inside. That's part of the abuse. It starts as a mental abuse and develops into more than we now see the physical. And it's like, when did this one start? When did he start hitting you? We need to, I think the protection I'm talking of is checking in on your sisters, checking in on your relatives, your women relatives. Like, how are you? Like, is any man, trying to manipulate you? Because there's so many manipulators.
There's a wall.
There is a wall.
Culture. So there's certain perspectives that have already been put in place before. Do you know what I mean? Like the likes of, I know we're jumping the rope now, but the likes of a guy committing suicide. Africans or our community won't believe that you're depressed as a man. Are you okay? You need the Holy Spirit. Do you know what I mean? That's the community we have. Do you know what I mean? So there's that wall that stops people to seek help. If you talk about a story, you're seeking attention. Or she's looking for clout. She's looking for followers because I'm opening up to talk about the situation. Do you know what I mean? So it's also us that are not creating that platform for ourselves, for people to come up and say, listen, Gabby, I went through the most. Do you know what I mean? So it's easy to point fingers. It's easy to say, we don't have this, we don't have, but it's the culture. It's the wall that's been set for us already. Do you know what I mean? I know you were talking about teachers there, but it's sad. We don't have that. We're in a foreign country and we've already been there's already like a whole stigma going around about black kids, and like I gave the example of mixed race is even worse because where do you belong? Do you know what I mean? So it's not like the teacher's going, oh, she's starting the trouble herself, and that was probably what happened. She started the trouble. The boys dealt with her the way that they would have dealt. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no okay. How did this happen? How did you come to that situation? They went away. They continued their life.
There was no due process
Yeah.
or fairness or equality.
And that's because of
in
the
the
wall.
process.
That's because of the culture. That's because of that wall that we have.
I want to kind of move away because I can feel the tension and the emotions building. But I just want to circle back to what something Gabby said in terms of when we talk about community, we don't have that figurehead or this one person or group of people that we could run to in troubles like this that would advocate for us. Luckily enough, we do have Black and Irish that, kept spreading the awareness and all the different platforms that we have had to, over the years, create for ourselves to give ourselves some sort of identity within Ireland. And that's how we were able to come across the story, because I don't know how else. 10 years ago, I don't think the news is traveling. 3 years,
social media.
Thank you. So, based on that, we're talking about I would like to call it infrastructure. What do we need to build that infrastructure, or how do we achieve having that infrastructure or that one body? Not even one, but like just that avenue for us as I suppose people of culture or ethnic minorities that we can run to in times like this where we feel the judgment has been unfair.
I can quickly take that
Yeah.
start off. I think we're well on our way to doing that initially. I think one big thing for me is us come together as a community. And I always feel like it's always easy to make that argument to be like, oh, Africans don't come together as a community. But 1 second, look at the size of the of
The nation.
of the continent. Massive people from different communities, different backgrounds, different cultural differences. But I say, recognizing that we're in a foreign country, whether you're born here or not, your culture, your background, you're in a foreign country, and trying to kind of like bypass those kind of like social red tape between our own community to be like, here, we have a common cause. Listen, we might not agree on some different things, but our common cause right here is the color of our skin
Yeah.
and the land that our feet is staying on. Whether we like it or not, there's certain structures out there that aren't purpose built for us. So we need to come right. That's our common goal, right? So we need to put some infrastructure and things in place for us to come together on that point, and then it's right. What are the common issues that we need to address together? Okay, whether it is violence against women, whether it is actually just putting together resources for ourselves, whether it's to address like positive things. Maybe want to run positive events. It doesn't always
Like,
got to be a negative.
Thank you.
Do you know what I
we
mean?
need to
We want to celebrate our
be
culture and our
proactive with
diversity.
ourselves.
Yeah, I agree with you, but it's not gonna be done overnight.
No, absolutely.
It's gonna take-
But are we ignoring the unity that we had when George and Kensha passed away?
Absolutely.
That was like a wake up call for everyone to be like, oh, Siri beep.
Thank you. No, you raised a great point. Question.
Okay, let me
though.
land. Like black people united. Whether you're from Nigeria, you're from South Africa, you're from Malawi, black people united. And the sad thing, right? Hear me out. Hear me out. It was our generation.
Yeah.
So we can talk about these issues, but it starts with us. Do you know what I mean? Because the older generation had to fight for where they are now. They had to lick white ass to be where they are now. Do you know what I mean? They had to literally work extra hard to have that position in a company. Do you know? They had to work, and doing so, they had to push down other black people to get on top. So let's not forget that it's easy to say, oh, we need to come together, but it's our generation that has to do it, because the older generation is not going to do it. I know people that got other black people deported because they just wanted a position in a company that they're in.
Snitches.
And this is a black person doing this stuff. We all came in from the same struggle. to fight for our kids, and they're doing this. So it's our generation that has to push. Sorry, you
Can I
can
talk?
go on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I understand where it's coming from, and I believe both of you are on the same page, but we need to be realistic. It's not hard for everyone to come together when it's close to home. Yeah, but trying to come together as one for
Women's issues.
for not only women's issues in general, it's going to be
Big
hard to
time.
bring people together until
time.
something drastic has happened. It took Encho's
You can show.
the guy's murder case for people to come together. If that didn't happen and it was a minor thing, people wouldn't come together. It would just be maybe his family or a group of people that would come together. So that's just how it is, whether white, whether black, wherever we are. It's just the human nature. It's just life. It's only when it's close to home that people come together.
Sorry, are you finished? I wasn't interrupting. I apologize. No. I just want to just pull in on just one small specific point. I get you and I get where you're coming from, but let's just even look at other like ethnic communities and groups who have emigrated and migrated to other places around the world. For example, like the Asian community are notoriously known in England for being great with each other. Listen,
They
they
are
go in as a
amazing.
group.
They are amazing.
They land boots on the ground and they take over.
Yes.
And I think that we need to change that mindset. I get it. Your point was strong in terms of like, the older generation who've had to, emigrate to a different world. But listen, we're good. We're hybrids. Yeah. That's the truth. We are.
We need to own
We are.
it.
We
Well,
are.
need
We
to
no. We
own it.
honestly
Like,
are.
That's the
We
truth,
honestly
man.
are.
I can pander this way, to be like, hey,
have
how are you
choice.
now? What's up? Yeah. And I can be like, hey, I'm Fanny.
I might have a
Do you know
mallet
what I mean?
today and mashed potatoes tomorrow. I have choice.
So we have the tools. No, that's
we
what I'm
do.
trying to make.
Yeah, we do.
We got the tools. Okay, I'll speak for myself. I might not necessarily be as like culturally in tune Nigerian as such, but that also means that maybe like I'm less likely to fight with a South African because I don't care. Do you know that? Do you know where I'm coming from? Like, I remember like growing up, like this is the truth. My mom's like, Femi, you can't marry a Muslim person. I don't want you near because we're Christians, Muslim. We don't do that. I still don't know the reason why she said that. And you know, I bet you if I spoke to her now, she doesn't know the reason why she said that. And that's probably like what her mother
Told
said
her.
to her. But like I know, like I have loads of Muslim friends. Like there's no issue for us to have any animosity towards that community. So like that's like one barrier I can break down. Do you know?
Okay,
And that's what
okay.
I'm talking about. Like lads, listen. Like I know we're all similar age. We got a lot of work to do.
No, he's right. He's
know,
right.
we
We do have a lot of work to do, and I feel like, especially when it comes to the female community, we have a lot of relearning, unlearning, and learning to do. And I genuinely feel like I feel like as men, if you guys empower the women around you, you guys are creating like millions of communities that are going to be amazing and that will stand together regardless, because it starts from, let's be honest, it starts from your sisters at home, it starts from your moms and the women that are around you, and you need to empower them. Like I come from a home where my mom is very gra. That's the word I'm going to use for her. She's very gra, like in your face. She doesn't care because she had to build the confidence to stand up for herself in work communities, because my dad can't help her. What's he going to do? And the annoying part is it took me seeing her go through that for me to be like, Gabby, you have to be the confident one. You have to speak out for your family. You have to say something when something is wrong, or else the more we sit quiet, it now leaves a gap where men are now like, well, we have done what we can. Every man for themselves. We've done what we can. And that's where the issues are brewing and they are lying in, because we are not being empowered as much as we should. We can only empower ourselves to a certain extent. I can empower my fellow woman, I can empower this female beside me. But when you guys join in the empowerment, it's a whole different feeling. You feel like you can move mountains. You can charge at anybody and know that my community is behind me. No matter what I say, they're gonna stand with me and they're gonna make an uproar with me. And that was what we did for Nkencho. That was what everybody did. We saw the tears, the pain, and we stood behind her. Now I'm asking you guys, where do you feel you fit in creating this?
Hear me. Okay, so I think there's a certain misunderstanding within the male gender that feminism means that women want to go half and half, or women want to do their own thing, or that they can fight for themselves, or that they don't need the guidance of men. And that's wrong. It's just a misunderstanding. So if a girl is screaming woman power, go girl, feminism, it's not an attack to the male gender. We still need you. We're not as strong as you are. Yeah.
Can you
still need
argue
you.
though
Okay.
that the way some of the message from the feminism echo chambers isn't user friendly?
Yeah.
I
It's a bit
agree
overpowering.
with that. That's why I said hear me out, right? I feel like there's a certain perspective that has been drawn into society coming from America and Cardi B. I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't. Now girls are not cooking and cleaning. But there's a certain perspective that people have set. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like for women to actually create that defense mode of no, feminism is like this, is like that, is because they weren't really given the platform to actually, be accepted in an easier way. So then they created that. So if I come to you and I start attacking you, you're gonna attack back. Right? It's human nature. That's what happened. Women were not really accepted as, I want to work as well. We want equal pay. They're like, huh? Stay at home and take care of the kids. They're like, no, women should deserve this. Do you know what I mean? Like, they had to fight for it. Now the message is being misunderstood because it's sounding as if they're demanding things or they're belittling men. And it's not like that.
Yeah. So I completely agree with where you're coming from, and thanks for raising that. Because on that feminism thing, I think we as women we need to reorientate each other. Because there are just some things here some things I read online, and I'm like, what the hell? To be honest, I'm like, what the hell? This is not what feminism is all about. And some people go as far as quoting Chimamanda, and I'm like, do you even read to understand? Do you actually read more about feminism? Do you know what feminism is all about? Do you know the history? Do you know there are different stages of feminism? A lot of people don't know it. They just come with placard on their head. Feminism. To be honest, like when people ask me, I don't know how to answer it. In fact, I confidently say it anyway. I am not a feminist because the question is the online feminism. People don't understand. I'm an independent person. I don't need anything. Like, I don't rely on people for anything. Men, if you want to help me,
Don't say it. Don't say it.
yeah, if you want to help me, yes, but you get like, I'm a person that I think fast. What's the next thing in life? Career, everything. But in terms of not supporting my partner or just being because that's where everything is, or making it favorable for them. Because that's what women do a lot. I'm like, what the hell, please.
I think I get where you're coming
We need to
from.
orientate ourselves.
I think that in that sense, I can't say that I'm not a feminist because I believe feminism also encourages and empowers men. I don't think it segregates or discriminates any gender in any sort of way. It's just equality in every single way. And whether we add culture into it, that's on you. Whether you add where you come from, your background, that's on you personally. But feminine in itself, femininity in itself. A man can be a feminist. A man, I know loads of male feminists, and we need to encourage that into the society where we're seeing. I try and push my brother to be a feminist, even though it's hard, but it's hard. But like you said, the misunderstanding, the miscommunication, and I want to ask the men. So, how do you think we can now bridge this gap of miscommunication?
I honestly, yeah, as humans, I don't think we're always gonna have miscommunication because it's a concept, and like when you're trying to get people to understand a concept, it can have very like a lot of meanings. So I feel like feminism, like in general, what it's trying to like portray, it's good, like equality amongst men and women. It's just that like there is like some women that can be like very vocal and aggressive about it, and then it can deter some other men.
But
or
do you
even some women
understand where
away
the
from it as well.
aggression is coming from?
I understand where the aggression's coming from. I feel like they need aggression to make some change. That's how
Yes,
any change
exactly.
is made. That's how like independency's gotten in a country. They fight back. But it's like just because we're human though, you're always gonna have different views and
Of
different
course.
sides, and people adding things to a concept and making it more confusing. Well, in general, if people see, I can't really say women need to be more gentle in explaining because that's not even how they. Yeah,
Don't say
that's not
that.
how they- exactly. There's no one way to actually
Yeah.
vocalize this. There's always gonna be someone that's gonna like be against it. It's just, but in general, like men and women should understand that we're all the same. We're human beings.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the main problem of the world is they create too many concepts, too many terms, too many this, too many that. If you just step back from everything, you're actually just a human to human.
Yeah.
You should treat everyone the exact same way you want to be treated.
Period.
And when you start adding all these things, like we're gonna have all these like debates, all these different aspects, because that's just what we are. We're humans. We're meant to do
Do you
this.
see the part where you say, "Can women like say it a bit better"? It's like
I didn't say that.
saying,
I didn't say that. Save myself now. Let me save myself. I didn't say that.
well, you were going in that direction, right? Where women should be more gentle in delivering the whole feminism thing, right? Anyways, my point is, see the likes of Black Lives Matter. When the whole Black Lives Matter started, white people came out and said, "What? But all lives matter." So, if how do you feel about that? Like, we're talking about Black Lives Matter, and someone's there screaming, "Okay, but all lives matter, whether you're blue, green." And I don't know why they like making that example as if there's different people with different colors, but how does that make you feel? Because it's the same as saying, when someone's screaming feminism, then but the male gender matters too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, in that aspect, that's like it depends what the intentions are, anyways. Why they're saying it, but in that aspect, that's ignorance, and that's why I saved myself as well. I said I didn't say women should be gentle because to make change, you don't really know what way it will work. You try every aspect, either aggressiveness or calmness, whatever. But in terms of what you asked me, they're both ways are ignorant. Like how I see someone responding to something like that is like they don't understand the pain or what the experience or why they're even fighting for that in the first place. And usually people like that, you don't even argue with them. They're ignorant for a reason.
Yeah, it explains why women are aggressive in the approach of feminism, and women empowerment, because we don't have that understanding coming from different gender, the other gender.
Honestly, I see it a lot. I see it a lot from the frustration from women because of that. Like, it's sad that it has to get to a tragic event before like people usually like listen or take action. Like I had a recent example like with one of my sisters, and she didn't tell me this because it's just the way like she sees like life and like culture as well. But like she had like an abusive kind of experience with her boyfriend, but because of like the background and culture we grew up in, instead of telling
Accepted
me
it almost like.
yeah, like instead of telling me immediately, I found out weeks later, but in a kind of messing kind of manner, in a joking way. But that was kind of like it's because of the society we live in, and then the culture clash as well. So it's like I understand like it gets very complicated like from the other end. Yeah.
I want to get the other male's perspective too on this topic.
Yeah, actually.
What's the question again?
Oh God,
No, like,
How do we bridge the gap?
of
Like for us?
miscommunication.
bridge the gap miscommunication. I feel like once they get their message across without the males or men feeling like in a way offended by it. I think that would be one. There's other factors as well, but I feel once we can learn from this, once the message is taken, and people are educated about certain standards like pay gap, etc., and other stuff like that. I feel we can move on to another stage from there. Does that make sense?
No, I understand that.
Yeah, no, I'll come in. Like it's for me, it's actually really, really simple, right? Yes, we talk about feminism, and all these different terms, and I have my own personal opinion on it, right? But the three of you ladies here are sitting there, look me in the eye. No, it's the truth, and you're telling me, bro, this is my issue and this is my experience.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what my opinion is. I gotta
Yeah.
listen. And
Yep.
that's how we start by bridging the gap.
Yep.
It's almost like, if I'm telling you, listen, this is my experience. This is from this has happened to me. This is what I live. This is how I feel. You gotta listen to me, whether
Yeah.
you agree or disagree, or whether your experience is different or not. And we then need to, maybe if I need to start to make concessions or I need to behave differently. Well, okay, because whatever I'm doing is clearly having an impact on you.
Yeah.
And I also think, because it was weird kind of listening to the two of you guys go on as well, right? Like your definitions, right? Feminism. And it kind of like dawned upon me, feminism also means different things to different
Oh, yeah,
people.
definitely.
Right? And you made an excellent point there where you're kind of like almost defined the generic meanings of feminism. And it's like almost me as like a sane human being. I was like, well, I can't argue about any of those things. You said you want,
Yeah.
the gender pay gap being kind of bridged. You wanted equality to be able to like, work. You wanted simple, basic human things that you weren't
Yeah.
You'd
being,
almost be a
being
dickhead to be like, nah, fuck that.
yeah.
Basically.
You want, simple. Yeah, no, but not bare minimum. No one should have to fucking, sorry, oh my
Yeah.
God, my swear. no one should have to fight for the bare minimum. Listen, like we're living in Europe in a comfortable place. I don't want the bare minimum. You want the best of the best, right? But the point I'm trying to make is it means different things to different people, but there's a
Common
bar,
ground.
like a baseline
Yeah.
of what feminism is.
Yeah.
And that's what we all need to agree with. And that's what we all need to attain on. And to me, there actually is no miscommunication there, because that's clear. I'm sorry. It's as clear as day. And what it is a lack of desire to want to understand. I don't, whether we go back into ego again, I don't want to understand because that's not my experience and I just don't care. And doesn't affect me. And, I kind of like, I felt like a bit, I don't want to say uncomfortable, like weird, when like on earlier conversations, it's like, oh, my sister, my girlfriend, my mom. Bro, like, are you not a human being? Like, I haven't met like loads of people in this room today. And like, you're speaking about your experience and I'm like, oh, that's pretty crappy that you have to go through that.
Yeah.
You don't need to be my sister or loved
Yeah.
one for me to to feel something. Like, I get called a robot half time by my mates, like, you guys made me feel something today, like, So I just think like we need like maybe like a general level of, like emotional intelligence in people. Maybe that's what we need to start teaching people.
Yeah.
That's what we need to
Yeah.
start teaching men.
agree.
Empathy, emotional intelligence, a basic understanding of basic concepts. I keep using the word basic because
It is basic. It really is. It really
It
is.
goes to the saying like common sense isn't common at all. Like not everyone has that ability to critically think or to see beyond what's in front of your eyes. And I think that's a great point. I hate agreeing with him. But, in terms of like we need to teach our men, if I was, my opinion on bridging the gap would be we need to teach our men emotional intelligence, because from the previous segment, a lot of our issues stem from insecurities, pride, ego. Those are emotions that we haven't learned to master over our like development stages. So if emotional intelligence, I think is a great tool for us to bridge the gap, because he said there, you don't have to personally know someone to feel or to feel empathetic towards their story, or to not only just feel empathetic, but then to want to inspire change and be active or vocal of your support. Not just be like, sorry you went through that, and then go back to doing what you were doing. That's not how we come together. That's not how we move forward to create the infrastructure that we need to help us in situations like that. So yeah, emotional intelligence, hate it came from you. But I agree with him. But I think we're almost getting to time.
We are.
I suppose just to kind of wrap up the
Yeah.
conversation, because again, we've all spoken well. I don't want to like cause issues, but I prefer this conversation. to yours. Jokes, but I suppose what can we like do better? I suppose the same as the last question, because yeah, we can talk, we can talk, we can talk, we can talk, but what are the actions like for you individually? Because I think someone said it like we're all everybody's perspective is different, so our
Definitely.
idea of change and our idea of how to tackle the situation would be different. So I'm interested to see from everyone how you feel you could to kind of summarize. We're obviously talking about International Women's Month, following up from International Women's Day, and in light of the different issues and situations that have happened since the start of this year in total, but it was just the start of this year that's really taken a toll in where we live in. And this conversation was just to kind of bring people together and educate ourselves on how on the matters and how we feel we can make a better change. So I suppose being that the conversation for you guys, what can we do then to protect our women and also inspire change to do better? I know it's a lot, but
We're looking at y'all.
it's a lot, but we need something. We need something from y'all.
I can start off. If you
Yeah,
want.
go on.
No, I think we all need to take like personal responsibility and accountability, but almost in the sense is like as like here, these three things that I aim to have a positive impact on a woman's life this year. Okay, I want to work with a woman's charity. I want to learn or read a book about feminism or whatever. Pick three things that's within like your comfort zone and actually act on it. I want to have better conversations with my little sister to see how she's getting on. I want to schedule a monthly call with my mom and my sisters, that females in my life, just to see how they're really getting on. Actual tangible things. It's okay to be like, oh, personal accountability and responsibility,
Yeah.
but like, what are you actually going to do? And like hold yourself accountable to that. And
Yeah.
like every one of those small things, you don't need to go out there and be Bill Gates to try and change the world. Ideally that would be great. I'd love his money. But you just pick three small things or two small things that you want to hold yourself personal accountable to
Yeah,
and do it.
agreed. I like that. What
Good
do you
answer.
guys have to say?
I think somebody mentioned it already, but if not, it's like just being more self-aware as a guy, especially when we're with our friends. Like I notice it a lot. Like we can be very like passive when it comes to situations like this. We can speak about it for 1
Very
minute
passive.
and it's gone like that. Not even 1 minute, it's 30 seconds, or they swipe past it, talk about it, laugh. But like if we actually make more effort to notice when we're even like that, because even that alone is what's causing society to be like going the wrong way when it comes
Yeah.
to things like this. So if we can discuss it between friends, like actually discuss it and like understand what's going on, maybe we can do something about it even more.
Definitely.
But yeah, definitely being more discussive with our friends about the situation.
I'd say listen to what women are saying. Try to understand everything from their perspective, why they feel, how they are in terms of environment and everything like that. Why they say they don't feel safe in certain situations. Like try to understand why they're feeling like that, and in a way see if you can help the situation and see what you can do about it in any way or form, stuff like that. That's that would be like the first step in terms of what you can do as well.
All right, so we've heard from the men. Women, how would you like the men to, I suppose, when you see online and we see situations like this, you get the stupid men that you'd be like, what about this, or like they always have something to say to rebut the facts. But the men that want to show support, how can they show support, or how would you like them to show support?
Like, comment, subscribe. No, but on the real, it's as simple as that. If I come out on social media telling you about my story, don't assume that I'm seeking attention. Like it, share it, tell your friends about it. Like if you mentioned that sometimes guys have pride on if they're with their friends and then they act as if they actually don't care when in person they do care. But on social media, you're your own person. Just post it. If someone inboxes your body, ignore them. I mean, that is support on its own. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many black people that are starting businesses, black-owned businesses. Share it, support it. It starts there. It's the little things that can make a difference. Do you know what I mean? Also, like, literally telling your friends off, like, you can comment on a girl, but when it gets to when it gets too much, when the getting out of the way to get that attention or to mess about with the person, just think about it and be like, they human too, why is your mind going there? Catcalling girls, like it's sad out here, man. Like, there was a study that was done where women were catcalling guys, and they didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. So imagine how females will feel about it, So it's just calling out your friends on small things like that and making sure that you are yourself getting educated on those issues. You are trying to read about something, even if you're not like being vocal about it. Educate yourself, because tomorrow you could educate someone next to you. So yeah, that's what I'll say.
Like us touching their butt, like, and you guys catcall. Can you imagine? You see? So you can imagine if you guys don't like it, you can imagine how we feel.
No,
you
I get
see?
no.
You
I
see?
know.
You don't like the violation, do
Literally,
you?
when that happened to me, I was like, I'm so sorry. I apologize for every man, cause that's a vibe.
If I do
That's
want
a
to give an
vibe.
answer.
But do you want to
go
wrap
on.
us up?
I would want men to grow some.
Just gonna say grow some balls,
Sorry.
He has a point.
Yeah, I would want men to grow some balls. I really said it. Sorry. When talking with their friends, like set their opinions straight and enlighten your friends. Don't be dickhead. Sorry for using that word. Stand for your
much.
truth, because it starts from you guys, and grow some level of inclusiveness, inclusion. When you're for us or you want to be for us, be empathetic, like you all have said. Like, show you care. And also let us feel like, we have men. You guys are not just men.
like
You're not just men from being men sick. It's even in the Bible. Like, protection. You guys are a protector. Yeah, you're soldiers.
they say you don't need anybody. You said
Let me be confident.
Now she needs men. Thank you. We move for God. She said now.
That's what I mean.
Protect
And I'm like,
protect us.
My black brothers got me.
She said she didn't need us.
Yeah, no, I never said I don't need you guys. No, I don't mean it.